Hello, I'm Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and welcome to this series called Spiritual Dilemmas, where I discuss our everyday life and spiritual practices that can support you through that process. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Hello, I'm Dr. Rosie Kuhn. You know, our bodies are constantly communicating with us. And what many of us do in our Western society is when our body is saying something that we don't like, we usually go to a doctor and say, can you fix this? Or fix it, give me a medicine, or give me a surgery, give me something to fix this. We don't pay attention to the message that perhaps that's coming through our bodies through symptoms or aches and pains or clenchedness in our system. And it can be quite often our emotional elements or mental fatigue and stresses as well as part of this physical and spiritual process. I'm 69 years old, and I am constantly learning to listen to myself to greater and greater degrees. And as I do that, I'm just fascinated with how much more health I have. In a sense, rather than at 69, I'm in my 70th year, where to me, that's where decline and decrepitude, you know, my belief is in decline and decrepitude when you get into your late 60s and 70s, and it's all downhill. But the truth is that for me, because I listen more and more, and attending to more acutely to my body as a learning device, I'm getting healthier, and the pains and aches that I had, they don't exist anymore. And so, by listening to our body and being attending to it in a way as a sacred vehicle and a sacred vehicle of transformation and transportation, we can have a different relationship with ourselves. So this month of July 2021, we're talking about health and well-being, and how we can use our bodies as a learning device, as well as this vehicle that's going to transport us through and to as many beautiful experiences as possible. So as over time, what I've realized is the degree to which my aches and pains were messengers for a level of listening I wasn't attending to. So for instance, I had a back thing that was going on, and I went to the chiropractor, and he'd adjust me and it would go out, and he'd adjust me and it would go out. And over time, it kind of got better. And then his wife is an acupuncturist. So by talking to her, we noticed that there's a different energy pattern that was associated with that particular point in my back. And so she used acupuncture needles to begin to move that energy. And she said, and she put those needles in my back and up my neck, but also in my heart chakra, my heart point, I should say. And she said, you're going to feel some emotion. You're going to potentially experience some release. And so over the next couple of weeks, I went through a deep release process. Life showed me something. It just all came in. I had this revelation of how I've been being in my life that has been not in alignment with my highest truth and my highest knowing. And so I was able to release that energy. The back is getting better, and I'm feeling healthier. So if I didn't attend to that as a messenger, I wouldn't have been able to acknowledge where I'm not in alignment with myself, when I'm avoiding or ignoring elements of me that I really want to participate in growing myself. Food plays a role for that for me as well, is when I'm tense or upset, I want to eat because I don't want to actually go through the process of being present to the physical sensations of emotional release. Now, what many people don't realize when they are thinking about a spiritual path or spiritual practice is that we have to let go of the density of our old patterns of our own old memories that we hold, and we have to let go of those. They're dense and they're deep and they're stuck, and when we can let go of those a lot of times that stuck energy is what's causing our pain and our disease. When we can let go of that, we're free. It has to go, but it's sometimes very uncomfortable, and it can be very emotional. It can be very distressing, but it's all part of this spiritual practice. It's all part of the spiritual journey that we're on to elevate ourselves, to rid ourselves of what no longer works, what no longer is needed, patterns that don't make sense anymore, and begin to shift and change that. So our bodies, again, are quite often communicators of that. So a friend of mine, I'll call her Carolyn, was telling me about how she was experiencing this clenchedness in her jaws and clenchedness in her chest and clenchedness in her gut. And so she's walking around all clenched and wondering why she's got aches and pains and why her stomach's not working, why her breathing's a little shallow, while her, why her throat's all choked up. And these are ways that if we pay attention to it, go, wow, okay, what is that? What is that clenchedness? What am I afraid to let go of? What is it that's, this is trying to give me some direction about? What is this trying to communicate to me? What am I holding onto or clenching to? So that's another way that our bodies speak to us, is through this sometimes very subtle ways that we don't even attend to because we don't see it, because it's been so normal for so long. So when we can begin to pay attention to, wow, there's some clenching there, or you might go to the dentist and he says, yeah, you got TMJ there, and it's like, oh, just use this or fix it, and you fix it, but you haven't released that which is causing the tension in the first place, the holding. Another piece that I have found very, very interesting, especially over the last couple of years, a few years for me, is I never thought of myself as being depressed. I never thought of myself as, I just thought I was having a great life. But as I begin to reveal these aspects of me and release them, and I come to higher levels of awareness and higher levels of joy, higher levels of freedom to express myself, I see where I've been holding. I see like, wow, I really wasn't very happy. And as I keep doing that, little by little, I become more sensitive to those negative attitudes or negative oppressed energies that are part of me and have been part of me. So for instance, Sunday night, I might have a great weekend, and then Sunday night comes and I go, oh, I got to work this week. And all of a sudden I go into, ugh. And the stress of the upcoming week, which is not stressful at all, but the thought of the upcoming week puts me in a state of angst. And I went, wow, do we really need to do that? Do we really need to put ourselves into this state of angst? And if you look at our nervous system, when we're in relaxation, a weekend, when we're relaxed in our weekend and we're just having fun, our bodies are able to restore and repair itself. When we go into angst and anxiousness and stress, our bodies are creating cortisols and adrenalines and things like that that actually begin to deteriorate our bodies. So here I was watching myself go, wow, I'm having a moment where I can now be more at choice because I'm noticing the stress that I just created it by thinking about Monday, right? Just created it. And it's like, I could begin to practice something different. So I started to take on what I call an attitude of Saturdays, which is Saturday for me is really a downtime and no stress. And if I can begin to be aware of and conscious of those moments that I've created, those stressful thoughts, and see what that's doing to my body, and then go, okay, I want to shift that, then I'm at least aware of that, and then I can begin to practice and train myself to let go of that stress. Because really, it doesn't serve, it doesn't help, it doesn't do anything but create a tension in my body that I no longer want. So those are a few ways that your body is communicating to you. And there are many more ways, but those are just a few. And I would love if you have a second to leave a comment below of ways that your body has communicated to you, ways that you've experienced or learned about yourself because of your body. I would love that. And if you have a moment, please subscribe and also give me a thumbs up. I would love that too. All right, thanks very much. Bye for now.